I'm Dan, this is Guns & Guitars, and this is how to make a high-end guitar out of one of those cheapo kits you can get on eBay. Now, if you recall from my last review of this kit, I was not super pleased with how it turned out. It didn't sound very good, and it didn't play very good. So let's fix that right now in 10 steps or less.
Step 1.
Throw the kit strings in the trash. Step 2. Throw the electronics in the trash. Step 3. Add additional 45-degree angle support screws to the neck and body. Putting these extra screws in before the rest of the neck screws will help the neck seat as tightly as possible into the cavity of the body. Making solid neck to body contact is critical to getting the best resonance and sustain out of your guitar. This is not a necessary step. In fact, it's rare to see this feature even on high-end boutique guitars. But let's be honest, this guitar kit can use all the help it can get, so why not?
Step 4.
Straighten the neck and level the frets. To do this, you'll need a couple of special tools, a guitar fret sanding beam, and a guitar neck notched straight edge.
Try saying that 10 times fast.
But you can make these tools yourself out of stuff you probably already have. To straighten the neck, use the included larger Allen wrench and twist the neck truss rod a quarter of a turn at a time, checking to see if the entire neck is level with your notched straight edge. Once it's completely straight all the way across the neck, it's time to level out the frets. Using a Sharpie, lightly mark a line across the top of every fret. Then lightly sand back and forth across the whole fretboard with your sanding beam, set up with 320 grit or finer sandpaper. This will make every fret the exact same height in relation to the fretboard, which will fix the fret buzz and the out-of-tune notes that I had, as well as allow me to have a good, fast, low action on the strings. Keep sanding level across all frets. Once you've touched the Sharpie with a sanding beam on every single fret, you'll finally have completely leveled frets. I also recommend adding a few strips of masking tape at the 12th fret and sanding all frets above the 12th some more, giving the higher frets a slight taper as you get higher up on the neck. This, in my experience, allows for even lower action with a straighter neck.
Step 5.
Crown and polish the frets. You'll need another special tool for this, a fretboard guard, which again you can make out of stuff you already have. Now since we flattened some of the frets as we were sanding, we need to crown them back into a dome shape and then polish them to a mirror finish. Using the fretboard guard, start sanding the sides of each individual fret, being careful not to sand the very top part that we already sanded. Start with 320 grit, then step up to 600 grit, and finish by polishing each fret with steel wool. Doing this will increase the sustain of the strings on the frets, and will give a much smoother feel for pitch bends, and just overall playability. Now you're probably saying to yourself,
this seems tedious. Is it really necessary?
Steps 4 and 5 are actually the most important steps to making a guitar play like a high-end guitar. These steps are a bit tedious, but if you skip them or shortcut them,
you'll be sorry!
Perhaps the biggest difference between low-end guitars and high-end guitars is how long the builder spent on these two steps.
Step 6.
Sand the neck and body. This obviously makes the guitar smooth to the touch. You don't want to scratch yourself or get splinters while you're playing. This is especially important on the back of the neck. The smoother the back of the neck, the faster it's going to play.
Step 7.
Apply the finish of your choice. I used a stain instead of a solid finish so that the wood can breathe better. Solid paint can suffocate the wood and kill the tone that it makes. Now, basswood doesn't take stain very well, but I used stain anyway because I wanted a more worn out or relic type finish. I also used tung oil instead of a polyurethane or a lacquer because again, I don't want to suffocate the wood. I want the tone of this instrument to be as warm and natural as possible. Also, a neck finished with tung oil is both great for protecting the fretboard and makes for a very smooth, fast-playing neck. There are trade-offs though. Oil finishes will protect just fine from the elements, but they aren't as durable for scratch and dent protection. But again, relic finish, I don't care about scratches or dents. In fact, they just give it more character. I'd rather have it be super smooth to the touch and the tonal benefits of an oil finish.
Step 8.
Wire in new electronics. I chose to do a triple humbucker super Strat using 3 hot rail pickups, but any OEM or aftermarket pickups will be an upgrade from the kit pickups. Just solder them in the same way the original pickups were wired. Or, if you have a more advanced understanding of electronics and soldering, feel free to hot rod your guitar here. I chose to wire in a series parallel switch for each pickup, which changes the humbucker from the traditional thick, heavy sound to a brighter, single coil type sound. I also added a push-pull volume pot that activates the bridge pickup. This adds 2 additional pickup blending options you wouldn't find in a normal Strat. An option to run the neck and bridge pickups together, sort of like a Telecaster, and an option to run all 3 together. All this will make for a very versatile guitar with tons of tonal possibilities. Lastly, to make room for these mods, I had to remove one of the tone pots, so I just wired the other one to be a master tone for all 3 pickups.
Step 9.
Step 9, assemble the guitar back together and make sure you put a good set of strings on. In my experience, either Elixirs or Diodarios have the best tone, 10 gauge or heavier.
And step 10,
Give the guitar a full setup. Again, adjust the truss rod to your desired string height, and using the smaller Allen wrench, adjust the bridge saddles to have a nice even arch across the width of the fretboard. And lastly, adjust the string intonation screw in the bridge so that the higher notes stay in tune with the lower notes. That's it! Now let's see how this thing compares to that American Strat. And just like last time, I'm going to be recording directly into Logic using this Focusrite Scarlett USB interface and Logic's Boutique Tweed amp simulation, with the same settings for both guitars so you can hear the tonal difference. Let's start first with the American Strat neck pickup.